Hello, and welcome to the Knitting Pastor podcast. I am Heather. I'm your host. I am a United Methodist pastor of two small member congregations in rural mid-Michigan, west of Lansing. I want to welcome you if you are just coming for the first time. I want to say welcome and thank you for checking me out. I hope you like what you see. If you are coming back, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm glad that you are taking some time to kind of walk through this week of my life with me. I greatly appreciate that. So I am a United Methodist pastor, and I live in a parsonage, which is a home owned by one of my churches with my two children, Abby and Philip, and our Rhodesian Ridgeback, Flint. So today is Saturday, May 2nd, and it is week 7, week 8 of being in quarantine for COVID-19. I hope all of you are doing well, that you are able to stay home, and if you're not able to stay home when you are out and about, you're staying safe and you're staying healthy. I know this past week a lot of states have begun to reopen. A lot of people are really pushing for things to just kind of go back to normal. That's not the case here in Michigan. We are still locked down until May 15th, and things will kind of be reevaluated then. It was a discouraging past week, in that there were, again, still more protests, protesting our governor's decision to do that. We have over 40,000 cases of COVID-19 in Michigan. We are still seeing around 1,000 cases each day, new cases each day. We're not on the way to the end with this. And it is true that a lot of the cases are kind of centralized in Detroit and in that area. We are starting to see more cases rise up throughout the rest of the state. So we're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, but people are upset and they want to go back to their lives how it was. And while on the one hand, I can understand and I can appreciate the people, especially who have lost their jobs and they're really afraid of losing their homes and falling behind on bills and putting food on the table. And I completely get that, and I completely empathize with that. But where I find myself to be very discouraged is with the degree of selfishness that these protesters displayed. Being in large groups without masks on, and acting like masks are some sign of oppression. And I struggle with that quite a bit. Another thing that I struggle with is people entered our state capitol building armed with assault rifles. And there are pictures and videos of them screaming and waving their weapons in the faces of state police officers. And I struggle with that because they weren't arrested. And all I can think of is, look at the privilege there. These were white people. And I know that if a black man, a black woman, Arab person, a brown person, anybody of color had done that, they would have at best been arrested, most likely killed. And so I think we need to stop and think for a second here. When people of color are afraid to wear homemade masks because they're afraid they'll be seen as a threat and that they'll be shot and killed, and we can have white people walk into a state government building carrying assault rifles and not even get arrested, it bothers me quite a bit. And I'm going to stop there because I could really get upset. And that's where I'm finding myself very discouraged, is in the selfishness of humanity. And I know it's just a few people, and I know it's not everybody. And I know that most of the people here in Michigan support what the governor is doing and are following her orders and recognize that this is being done to keep people safe. I completely get, and that's how I feel. But it's still hard to see all of that happening and not feel really discouraged. And so it's been a difficult couple of days for me, just in feeling that mental and emotional toll of the way others are acting. It's really weighed a lot on me. So today I am kind of resolving myself to work really hard to not let those feelings kind of overwhelm me, and to be a little bit more productive today, because the last couple of days they've just been really, really difficult. And that's how this has all been. And I know many of you feel the same way, that, you know, some days are better than others. And the last couple of days have not been very great days. So I'm going to work really hard at making today a better day. And so I thought I would do that by starting off the vlog. And so if you are checking me out for the first time, this is not a traditional podcast where I just sit down and talk once, but I call it a vlogcast because it's made up of several shorter videos that I take throughout the week. So you get a glimpse into what my life is like as a pastor, as a parent, and as a knitter. It's primarily about knitting, but you get to see some of these other aspects of my life as well. Granted, during quarantine, they have not been the most exhilarating things because we just can't do a whole lot. So that being said, I always start and end the videos with a longer sit-down segment where I kind of recap the week before, and I show you what I've been working on with my knitting projects. So I'm going to start with that. I do have a half-finished object, which are the rainy window socks. This is the third sock pattern in Helen Stewart's Handmade Sock Society Season 3, and I did finish my first sock. I believe I was like really close to finishing it the last time, but I do have a project that I work on the weekends, that I don't really show on here because it's a gift and I don't want to give it away. But I did finish the first sock of the rainy window, and this is the sock. Kind of let you see, this is what is up the front of the heel, and then there's like a little cable along the side. So that is done, and I think that this color is really nice for this. This is just Knit Picks Stroll. The color is called Rainforest Heather. Rainforest Heather? I think it's called Rainstorm Heather. I remember it being like perfect for these, the name perfect for these socks. So that's that. The one thing I will say about Knit Picks Stroll is it is not fantastic for stitch definition. It is a little bit fuzzy. You do kind of get, you're probably not going to be able to see that. There is a little bit of a halo that happens on it, but it is very, very soft. And it does wear fairly well. I have socks made out of this that it does hold up pretty well, but it is not the most awesome for stitch definition, but it's working fine for these. So I have the first one done, and then the second one, I think I'm about halfway through the foot, so I'm really close to being done with the second one. So that is coming along. I suspect these will probably be finished this coming week. I would think. They're not the kind of project that I can just sit and knit on while I'm like reading or doing something like that, because you do have to pay a little bit more attention, but they're fine for when we're just watching TV or something like that. The other project that I have been working on, and I've been focusing mostly on the socks, but I'll work on this, especially when I'm in the garter section, when I am reading and doing things like that. So this is the Color Craze shawl by Tamy, Gore. Make sure I get the right side. And here is my progress on that. So I haven't made a ton of progress. I believe I was like in the middle of knitting this section right here when I showed it to you last. And now I've done another brioche section. And I have not gone any farther than that. So yeah, so here it is. I am using just an undyed, you can't even, it's because it's all blowing out, just an undyed skein of yarn that I had for dyeing myself, and then just various mini skeins that I have for the colors that are going into it. And I'm not necessarily following exactly the colors that the pattern calls for. I'm just kind of adding in colors as I have them and as they go together. So yeah, so here's the Color Craze shawl. I really have been enjoying knitting this. This is something that I think I could see myself knitting again and using different mini skeins to play around with. I could definitely see myself doing that. So nothing finished in the past week, but some good progress on things. I do want to show you, so a few weeks ago I kind of started to sew a little bit. I did it to start sewing masks, and I want to get back to doing that a little bit more. I haven't been sewing as much, just because I need to keep like an ironing board and an iron out, and then that just kind of makes things a little bit cluttery. So I haven't been doing it quite as much as I was before, but I do want to kind of get back to that. But I did sew a project bag after I finished recording last week. So I thought I would show you the project bag that I made, and I thought it turned out really cute. So it's just got some daisies and then this green, and then it's just blue, the inside. And it definitely turned out better. This was the first project bag that I made, and I think that this turned out better than this one. I think this one I did a good job with, especially since this was the first time I'd ever made anything other than a mask. But I think I just did a much better job and was more careful with this. It's a better fabric. It's all quilting cotton, whereas this outer layer of this, I'm not sure what exactly that was, but this doesn't stand up like all that well. It kind of tips over, whereas this one stands up much better. And then it's a drawstring bag, so it's not very big. I did order some larger fabric to try to make a bigger bag because I have really been enjoying making project bags, and so I want to make something a little bit bigger because these are really only good for like 1, maybe 2 skein projects. I do still have my baskets from Ghana that Molly from A Homespun House was selling, but she's no longer selling these. And I absolutely love these baskets, and I do kind of wish that I had another one like this that's a little bit bigger because I really, really love this basket. So my color Craze shawl is living in this basket. And I have a much larger one that sits beside the couch that has other projects in it, and then I keep my secret project in because then I can cover it up with other stuff and nobody knows that it's in there. So I really like that basket too. I really, really have enjoyed these baskets quite a bit, and I'm really disappointed that Molly won't be selling them anymore, and I haven't found anybody else that has been selling them. So if you know of anyone else selling like fair trade handmade baskets, let me know because I would definitely be interested in more of those. So I'm going to stop babbling at you for now, and I'm going to try to get some more things done. It's supposed to be a really nice day here in Michigan, so I think a little bit later I might take Flint, and we might go up and go for a run. I have to be careful saying that because he's laying right over there and he knows these words, and if he hears them he gets really excited. And he knows I'm talking about him, so now he's gonna get up. So we may go do that this afternoon as well. Yeah, so I will check in with you guys later.
Happy birthday, Parson!
Oh my gosh.
See why I told you to pause it?
I guess.
Wait, Abby, you were a part of this?
Yeah.
neighbors has to wish you would have.
Wait!
Stop yelling.
The dog!
Shut the
Shut the door, Abby!
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, and I wanted to pop on and check in real quick. It is first thing in the morning, so I just woke up. So my voice is a little rough, and I'm looking a little rough right now. So yesterday, Monday, was actually my 40th birthday, and it was a very odd day. It's very strange. I spent a lot of the day just kind of feeling a little bit down because I had to spend like kind of a milestone birthday pretty much just hanging out with the kids. But then there was a little bit of a surprise waiting for me in the evening. I could hear like sirens going off, and it was very strange. I was like, why are all these sirens going off? Turns out that David, along with Abby, had conspired to get my congregations to do like a drive-by of my house. So, and they somehow got the fire department involved. So a couple of fire trucks with their sirens going went by, and then like a lot of people in my congregations drove by honking and throwing cards out the window. And some of them had made like big signs, and it was really nice and kind of funny at the same time, and I can only imagine what the neighbors were thinking. But there was a lot of other stuff that was going on that kind of complicated a lot of it. So it was just ended up being very strange feeling. So today is now Tuesday, and I took it easy yesterday because it was my birthday, but I've got to kind of get some work done. I did finish my socks that I was working on that I don't have here with me this morning, but I will show those later. So I did finish those. Yeah. So I'm gonna get on with my day. Hi guys, so it's now Saturday, May 9th, and I thought that I would just kind of wrap up the vlog for the week, and just kind of pop in and give you a recap. Tomorrow is Mother's Day in the United States, and so both of my kids will be around tomorrow afternoon most likely, so I figured I'd just wrap things up today because it will be easier than trying to do it while they are here. So that's what I am doing. Just to kind of look back on the week. Monday was my birthday, and you will have seen the very touching parade that David orchestrated with my congregations for me. That was kind of nice to have on a quarantine birthday where you don't really get to celebrate in normal ways. So that was really nice. And then the rest of the week I was just trying to get stuff done and trying not to let the weight of the emotional, mental weight of the whole week kind of weigh on me. And I did an okay job this week. It wasn't too horrible. Thursday though, our governor did extend our stay-at-home order until May 28th. So not a whole lot is changing. Some businesses are allowed to open back up with like curbside or delivery options. My churches are still closed. And in looking at recommendations and things like that for in-person gatherings, potentially when things open back up again, I don't know that we are going to be gathering together for quite some time. Because it's not like things are going to open back up and it's just going to be all back to business as usual. Gatherings will likely still be limited. They're saying that in churches they recommend not singing, not having things that people touch, social distancing, which is kind of impossible in one of my churches. The other one, we could maybe pull it off, but the other one, definitely not. So it's a little bit overwhelming to think about how any of this is going to look, and it definitely produces some anxiety. Added to the fact that from a personal perspective, I am a pretty high-risk person. For me to be infected with coronavirus could be fatal, to put it very bluntly and very simply. I do have asthma. I have lung damage from having blood clots in my lungs, and I also have a clotting disorder. So it's a little scary to think about contracting the virus. And scary to think about what happens to my kids if I do. I'm a single parent. There is not another adult in this house. So what happens? So that's a little scary to think about. And I try not to linger on it a whole lot. But as I'm thinking about going back to my churches, I'm thinking about my congregations, but I'm also thinking about myself and my family, and if that's safe for us. So there's a lot of things to weigh in on that decision. And we'll cross that bridge when it comes. But, yeah. So I'm a little bit relieved, I guess, that things got extended on the one hand, but it's still, it gets a little tiring to be on your own and not be able to be out and about much. So that gets a little bit tiring. But let's talk about some positive things, shall we? We're going to talk about some knitting. I did finish a project this week that I did tell you that I finished. I just haven't shown you that I finished it yet. And that is my rainy window socks from Helen, Stewart of A Curious Handmaid. These are from the Handmade Sock Society Season 3. So here they are. I'll let you kind of get a close-up of the pattern itself. I did put them on sock blockers, and I actually wet blocked these because the instep is purling. It was curling up on itself. And so I did wet block them so that they would kind of lay a little more flat when I put them away. Otherwise, they were just going to kind of be this curled up mess. So yeah, these are the socks. I am really pleased with how they turned out. The yarn is from Knit Picks. It's their Knit Picks Stroll, and the color is Rainstorm Heather, which I thought was perfect for it. And yeah, not a whole lot else to say about these other than that they are done. This was the third pattern in the Handmade Sock Society Season 3. I believe there's 3 more. I have knit all 3 of them. That wasn't really a goal that I set, but it's something that I think I wanna stick with for this year, is to knit all of them kind of as they come out. I like that goal. It's working so far. So those are done. My other project that I have been working on, well, apart from my secret project, which I'm not going to show, is my Color Craze shawl by Tamy, Gore, and I am really close to being done with this. I've just a little bit left. So it's quite a few stitches now, so it's pretty bunched up on the needles, but I'm going to try and show you as best I can what it looks like. So here it is. And I have really, really enjoyed this knit quite a bit. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Oh, and I want to show you the Progress Keeper that I'm using. I'm going to pause this and go get my other one. Okay, so the Progress Keeper that I'm using for this, my best friend sent me. It's from Simply Serving, and she sent me 2 of these, and they are so awesome. So I put the one right away on here, and it is this little owl guy. And she sent me this because Philip is obsessed with owls. And so, and his birthday wasn't too long ago. So that was one of them. And then the other one is this really cute brown one. But I'm not sure how well it'll show up. But this one I think just looks perfect on this. Goes very well with it. And I was very excited. And Philip was very excited too. Even though he doesn't knit, they were owls. and that's all that mattered to him was owls. So that's what's on those. And this, what I'm using is just an undyed skein of yarn, and then just various mini skeins that I have had around. And so yeah, I really, really have enjoyed this immensely, because it is, basically just garter stitch, and then there's a little bit of brioche thrown in, and then there's color changes, and so it keeps you engaged and it keeps it interesting, but at the same time being very relaxing. And I use it, or I knit on it while I watch TV, while I'm doing reading, things like that. So really, really recommend this pattern. I could easily see myself knitting it again, very easily. And it's really, really flexible and really customizable. You could make it, just 2 colors if you wanted to, or you could make it a whole bunch of different colors, or whatever. I mean, it just really, really has a lot of variability with it that you can just customize to your heart's content. So there is that. Really, really been liking it quite a bit. I haven't really sewn a whole lot this last week. I showed you the project bag that I made a couple weeks ago now. And I did find another mask pattern, so I've started making masks, and this is one that has like the hair ties that loop around. And I'm still kind of tweaking that to figure out which measurements are the best, because the first one that I did, the hair ties, it's like too tight, so it kind of like pushes your ears forward, and I don't think it'd be very comfortable to wear for very long. So I'm not sure how well that will work. So I think I need to go up a size on the measurements, because I bought just a big package of hair ties, and hair ties do stretch out over time, but these are brand new, so they're not stretched out. So I'm still kind of tweaking the dimensions on that, because I do want to be making more masks for when we do get back together. Again, I think masks will be a requirement. But I did actually order some fabric, because I did want to make myself a larger project bag, and all I had was scraps from my mom that were not necessarily fabric that I would use to make a project bag, and or just standard size fat quarters, which aren't big enough. So I found this website called fatquarter.com, and they have a bunch of different types of fabric, but they have pre-cut fabric. And so I decided to go with that, because I am still really new at this, and I don't have the greatest setup for like cutting large pieces of fabric. So I ordered this fabric here, these are half yard cuts to make larger project bags, but I thought they were really pretty. There's purples and greens in here, and it's all like coordinating and all goes together. So I haven't washed this or anything like that, but yeah, this is just some fabric that I thought would be fun to make some project bags out of. And then I bought a package of just a fat quarter bundle that is just various kind of neutral colors that I thought I could use to make project bags, but also that would work well for making masks too. And then this was a lot of fun. So there's quite a few different colors. I think there's 15 different fat quarters in here. So both of those came this past week, and I'm looking forward to playing around with that a little bit when time allows. I found that with sewing, if I put away my ironing board, I don't do it, because then I have to get my ironing board back out to sew. But then leaving my ironing board out, it's kind of like in my kitchen and kind of cluttered, because I don't have a good like space to sew. So that's what I have discovered. But I have been making some more masks, and I'm going to keep making masks. And this new pattern that I found, it does not involve like bias tape and like tying long straps. So I think that that'll be better and quicker for making them. And I think I might get more done that way. Perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, that is enough rambling and babbling for this vlog. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching this week as we are still in quarantine and still hanging in there. I hope all of you are staying healthy and staying safe as well. I know how frustrating and discouraging this whole situation is, but just hang in there, guys. It will end eventually, and just keep knitting and keep loving on each other and doing all of those things. Do all the things that make you happy and make you feel fulfilled. My message tomorrow is about how we gain power over our powerlessness by doing something. And I think for people who are makers, that is something that empowers us and encourages us, as if we can make things. It may have nothing to do with the situation, but we're still doing something, and that can really make a big difference. So get out there, make some things, and I will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Bye.